Hey, how you doing? Thank you for joining me today on the Unpopular Opinion channel, where I talk about all the news that's unpopular that the masses seem to miss. So I'm gonna bring it to you and unfold it. Today I'm bringing you a video about Capitol Hill. Just the other day, Senator Ted Cruz of Texas grilled the FBI director Ray about involvement the FBI had in January 6th, 2021 inauguration, where people been saying for a long time, and I know I said it and I caught it when it first happened. Just because we seen people scaling the walls at the Capitol, going inside the Capitol, Lord knows how they got in and how they knew their way around and where the officers were, that these guys were informants. These guys just had on Make America Great shirts and hats. That didn't mean that they were part of Donald J. Trump, nor did Donald J. Trump tell the people to go to the Capitol and go into the Capitol and disrupt anything. He never told the people that. So the FBI has been caught with their hands in the cookie jar. The very guys that was at the head of the mob that entered into the Capitol was allegedly FBI agents undercover orchestrating the whole ordeal to go inside the Capitol. And in this video on Capitol Hill, you got Senator Ted Cruz grilling the FBI director about his knowledge of involvement of FBI agents. And man, a hit dog, a holler. It's like every time they ask them questions about it, instead of saying no, because especially if you weren't involved, you'd be quick to say no. Instead of this man saying no, this man always says he can't talk about it. He can't answer certain questions, which opens up room for speculation. We can't do nothing but speculate and say, hey, the FBI was involved. These guys at the head of this mob that stormed the Capitol January 6th, 2021 was FBI agents. And they did it all for photo ops so they could come back and say, hey, President Trump, he encouraged people to go inside the Capitol and cause an insurrection. He's the fault of it. This was a plan that was thought out. It was thought out, and people have been saying it for years. But hey, now the time comes to expose these individuals and what they did to America. Without further ado, I'm gonna play the video, and I'm gonna interject where I see I can bring some light to certain conversations and topics that Cruz gonna ask the man. Without further ado, here go this video.
Mr. Olson, how many people have been charged with crimes of violence in connection with the events on January 6th?
Senator, I'm not sure exactly how many have been charged with crimes of violence. I know that there are many.
Okay, how many have been charged with nonviolent crimes?
I don't have the numbers of people charged, whether at the state or federal level. I know that.
Okay, how many people are currently incarcerated concerning the events of January 6th?
I don't know the number of people incarcerated. Again, I know that.
How many? Okay, let me ask you that. Look, with limited time, so I don't want you to filibuster. You either know the answer or you don't. How many people have been placed in solitary confinement concerning the events of January 6th?
I don't have any information about that, Senator.
You know, Mr. Olson, I will say it was sad. Senator Lee just asked you about this. Back in June of 2021, Senator Lee and I and two other senators sent a letter to the Department of Justice asking these questions, asking about the differential prosecutions. Let me ask you, during 2020, Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots all across the country, there were over 700 police officers injured by Black Lives Matter and Antifa riots. How many people have been charged with crimes of violence concerning those riots all across the country?
Information on how many, I would say, hundreds of people have been charged, as Ms. Sanborn.
You would say, but you don't know. You know, when we asked you why the Biden Department of Justice has such wildly disparate standards, going after January 6th, targeting some people who committed crimes of violence, and anyone who commits crimes of violence should be prosecuted, but also targeting a lot of nonviolent individuals. We asked you, why is it that you won't target the rioters and terrorists who firebomb cities across this country? The answer we got from the Department of Justice was shameful. On October 22nd, you came back and said, quote, The department has dedicated investigative and prosecutorial resources commensurate with the significance of these events. By significance, I guess it means the political benefit to the Biden White House. And I will tell you, there are a great many Americans who are understandably deeply concerned about the politicization of the Department of Justice under President Joe Biden. It has been 218 days since we sent you that letter. DOJ refused to answer.
And as a citizen, I'm deeply, deeply concerned about the politicization of the DOJ and the FBI. My God, these are the top law enforcement agencies in this country. All the rest of the law enforcement agencies and courts are ran off of what these two are able to get away with and do. I'm deeply, deeply concerned. I've been thought that the DOJ was weaponized against certain people. I've been thought that. I don't see how very many people out there in La La Land could not see these things. I don't know. Here we go. We're going to listen to what Ted Cruz discovers from these guys.
To the letter today, when Senator Lee and I asked you about it, your answer to every damn question is, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know. You're under oath. You may believe at the Department of Justice that you are unaccountable to the American people, but that is not the case. And the wildly disparate standards are unacceptable. Ms. Sandberg, I want to turn to the FBI. How many FBI agents or confidential informants actively participated in the events of January 6th?
Sir, I'm sure you can appreciate that I can't go into the specifics of sources and methods.
Did any?
I don't know why they can't say a number or yes, we was involved or no, we weren't involved. See, it's how they answer these questions. They already caught, but look at how they answer. On Capitol Hill, the FBI and the DOJ budget is funded by American tax dollars. If we're summoned to go to any court, we have to go and we have to answer truthfully up on the oath. But for some reason, they think that they ain't got to do nothing. That's amazing.
The FBI agents or confidential informants actively participate in the events of January 6th? Yes or no? Yes or no?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Did any FBI agents or confidential informants commit crimes of violence on January 6th?
I can't answer that, sir.
Did any FBI agents or FBI informants actively encourage and incite crimes of violence on January 6th?
Sir, I can't answer that.
Ms. Sadburn, who is Ray Epps?
I'm aware of the individual, sir. I don't have the specific background to him.
Well, there are a lot of people who are understandably very concerned about Mr. Epps. On the night of January 5th, 2021, Epps wandered around the crowd that had gathered. And there's video out there of him chanting, "Tomorrow, we need to get into the Capitol, into the Capitol." This was strange behavior, so strange that the crowd began chanting, "Fed, Fed, 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 Fed." Ms. Sandburn, was Ray Epps a Fed?
Sir, I cannot answer that question.
Amazing. It's simply amazing. See, they can't answer a lot of these questions because they know what they're complicit of doing. And they're trying to think 2-3 steps ahead of everyone so that they can't get in any type of legal trouble in the future. My gosh, my people, we have to wake up. When we say wake up, that's what we mean. Pay attention to what's going on. Years ago, people didn't even have the privilege to get this information on a television or a computer at finger touch. You can rewind it, go back through it. People did not have the luxuries and technology that we have today. So we really have to pay attention. There's some serious stuff that's been going on in this country. Very serious stuff. And the same government will most definitely hold you accountable and make you be accountable. But you won't hold them to be accountable? Well, it's some trying times, but we'll get through it.
The next day, on January 6th, Mr. Epps is seen whispering to a person, and 5 seconds later, 5 seconds after he's whispering to a person, that same person begins to forcibly tear down the barricades. Did Mr. Epps urge them to tear down the barricades?
Sir, similar to the other answers, I cannot answer that.
Shortly thereafter, the FBI put out a public post seeking information on individuals connected with violent crimes on January 6th. Among those individuals, in the bottom there, is Mr. Epps. The FBI publicly asked for information, offering cash rewards for information leading to the arrest. This was posted, and then, sometime later, magically, Mr. Epps disappeared from the public posting. According to public records, Mr. Epps has not been charged with anything. No one's explained why a person videoed urging people to go to the Capitol, a person whose conduct was so suspect the crowd believed he was a Fed, would magically disappear from the list of people the FBI was looking at. Ms. Sandburn, a lot of Americans are concerned that the federal government deliberately encouraged illegal and violent conduct on January 6th. My question to you, and this is not an ordinary law enforcement question, this is a question of public accountability. Did federal agents or those in service of federal agent actively encourage violent and criminal conduct on January 6th?
Not to my knowledge, sir.
Thank you. Senator Cruz. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Director Wray, welcome. As you know, I am deeply concerned about the conduct of both the Department of Justice and the FBI, particularly in the last 3 years during the Biden administration. I think the Department of Justice has been profoundly politicized under Attorney General Merrick Garland. And I think the FBI has as well. And unfortunately, I think you've been unwilling to stand up to senior career officials in the FBI who's allowed the FBI to be politicized. I'll tell you, I regularly speak with FBI agents across the country.
Now, the FBI has allegedly been held responsible for the assassination of Martin Luther King. Allegedly, although there is paperwork out there on the King family getting a settlement for that, but that's another one. Allegedly, they've been said to be involved with the assassination of Malcolm X. Allegedly, they say they've been known to have been involved in the assassination of John Fitzgerald Kennedy. Allegedly. So I ask myself, and I really do ask myself the question, how in the world could the American people today doubt anything that other congressmen and senators are bringing up about discrepancies with the FBI and the DOJ? Tell me how. Because it's supposed to be bipartisan? Supposed to be? Oh, because the director of the FBI changes. Is appointed by the president. I don't know, fam. We better pay attention. Because, hey, it's individuals out here that are paying attention and folks that know what's going on. And I'm trying to tell you, we getting our stuff tighter than a shoebox. You dig what I'm saying? We are really got our eyes on what's going on. Because, man, I don't like surprises. I don't like surprises. The element of surprise ain't never good. But I'm going to keep playing this video.
Who are unhappy about the integrity of the institution being weakened because DOJ is being treated as a political weapon. I want to talk in particular about the investigation into multiple allegations of corruption concerning Hunter Biden and Joe Biden. Because the Department of Justice has, I think, from the outset, tried at every step to stop investigation into corruption from Joe Biden. As you're aware, a WhatsApp text message was sent to Henry Zhao, a senior Chinese communist, from Hunter Biden that reads as follows. I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand. And now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows, and my ability to hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I am sitting here waiting for the call with my father. Now, Democrats and those in the media trying to defend the White House repeatedly say there is no direct evidence of Joe Biden's involvement in his son's corruption. Well, this is a text that is direct evidence, that is stating that it is his father that is going to retaliate. Now, an IRS whistleblower, Gary Shapley, testified before the House of Representatives that the natural step he wanted to follow was to determine whether Joe Biden was in fact sitting next to his father when this threat was made to extort millions of dollars from a Chinese communist. And what the IRS whistleblower testified is that when he tried to find out whether Joe Biden was sitting next to Hunter, that the DOJ blocked getting the GPS data on Joe Biden's phone. Did the FBI try to ascertain where Hunter Biden was and where Joe Biden was when this text was sent?
Well, I think the questions you're asking go to the ongoing investigation being led by Special Counsel Weiss. And so I'm not going to be able to discuss what is or isn't in scope.
So look, there's been testimony under oath from the IRS whistleblower that you did not seek the GPS data. And you're right, David Weiss, the special prosecutor, is in charge of it. And it is David Weiss and his underlings who, according to the IRS whistleblowers, have alleged that they're the ones trying to stop the investigation. They allowed the statute of limitations to run on many of the most serious violations. Not only that, IRS whistleblower Shapley testified that on September 3rd, Assistant U.S. Attorney Leslie Wolf explicitly told investigators that despite having probable cause to search, quote, there is no way a search warrant would be approved when the evidence in question was located inside of Vice President Biden's guest house. Wolf stated that, quote, the optics prevented such a search. Is the FBI, do they make a routine practice of allowing partisan political optics to prevent investigating serious evidence of corruption?
My instructions to our people on this and on every other investigation are that we are to follow the facts wherever they lead, no matter who likes it, no matter what political influence.
Then why did you get the GPS data on where Hunter Biden and Joe Biden were?
Again, Senator, with respect, I can't discuss
but it's
an
not
ongoing
with respect.
investigation.
And Director Wray, you and I have gone round and round on this because I understand anytime you're asked about this, the answer is it's an ongoing investigation. Of course, the investigation isn't ongoing. You're not doing the work. You got whistleblowers pointing out that you're not doing the work, and you are hiding behind the skirts of the Attorney General. Look, the whistleblower also testified that the Attorney General, when he came before Congress, go to the next chart, came before Congress, lied under oath to this committee. The Attorney General testified to this committee in response to my questioning. I have pledged not to interfere with the Hunter Biden investigation. I have carried through on that pledge. The IRS whistleblowers have alleged the Attorney General lied under oath, a felony. Was the Attorney General telling the truth when he said this? Do we have the chart? We don't have the chart. Was the Attorney General telling the truth when he said, I have pledged not to interfere with the Hunter Biden investigation, and I have carried through on my pledge?
Again, I can't speak to the Attorney General's testimony. I can only tell you what my instructions have been to our people.
Has there been political interference in the investigation into Hunter Biden and Joe Biden?
Not that I have experienced.
Were the investigators allowed to investigate whether Joe Biden was complicit in the corruption.
Again, there is an ongoing investigation.
I'm asking you about
being led.
corruption from DOJ. Were they allowed to investigate Joe Biden, or is the whistleblower telling the truth that DOJ said Joe Biden's off limits, no questions about the big guy?
And as to what is in scope or not in scope of the ongoing investigation, I would refer you to Special Counsel Weiss. That is not me hiding behind anything, Senator. That is a long-standing policy that has been in place
Director
through
Ray,
multiple administrations,
you have a
going back
responsibility.
years and years
have a
and years.
responsibility to the FBI, not to allow it to be a partisan tool and a partisan weapon. The testimony, and by the way, the FBI has done nothing.
And I have not, and I will not.
Have you opened an investigation into whether the Attorney General lied under oath to Congress and whether the Attorney General obstructed justice?
I'm not going to go down that road here.
I know you're not. That's the point. Nobody thinks you've opened an investigation because you're not willing to. And the amazing thing is, Director Ray, I've known you 30 years. You're not a partisan Democrat. You're simply sitting blithely by while career partisans in your agency allow it to be weaponized. And you are damaging the FBI, and you are damaging the Department of Justice. Let me ask you also, the whistleblower testified that investigators wanted to execute a search warrant on a storage unit used by Hunter Biden, and instead they tipped off Hunter Biden's lawyer before the search warrant was carried out. Is it typical FBI practice to tip off the subject of a search warrant before the search warrant so they can remove any evidence that's incriminating?
Wow. Now imagine that. Before your trap spot about to get bust, the FBI agent notify your lawyer and let you know what's going on. Whoo, boy, that would be treatment that I'm sure a lot of people out there who do those type of jobs would love to have known. Love to have known. There's a lot of criminals out there. They should be watching this too. Look at how our government is ran on the inside. Look at this.
What is typical is that when you're dealing with an individual who has a protective detail, it is typical for agents to be in contact with
Does
the
the
subject's
protective detail guard the storage unit?
Again, I can't speak to the storage unit specifically, but I can tell you is that when it comes to
why would the FBI tip off the subject of a search warrant about the storage unit that was going to be searched beforehand?
Right.
Does that not undermine the very essence of an investigation that DOJ is purporting to undertake?
Again, I'm not going to be able to discuss specific investigative steps.
But who is? If you're not, nobody answers these questions, and it's why people are furious with the cover-up, because you don't believe
Nobody
the FBI
answers
is
these
accountable
questions.
to Congress or to the American people.
Your time is up. Director Ray has requested a 5-minute recess. 5 minutes.
Let me just, Senator, if I might just quickly respond and then
Respond.
go to the break. Thank you. I understand why this is frustrating. I do. But it is also the case that these policies that I am referring to about my inability to discuss ongoing investigations and certainly internal deliberations related to ongoing investigations are policies that have not only been in place for many, many years through multiple administrations of both parties, but in fact, these were policies that were actually strengthened under the last administration and that my predecessor was faulted in a fairly scathing Inspector General report for not following it.
When
so I
you
keep
see
that in my
corruption,
mind.
you have.
So there you have it. Nothing but a bunch of jibber jabber. The FBI director going on and on, still not answering the question, trying to lead you down a rabbit hole and think you don't understand that you ain't got way off topic. The question was, did the FBI have agents in J6 in the crowd? And if so, can you identify them? If not, we got video footage of an individual who was on camera encouraging people to go inside of the Capitol, but we see no arrest of him. Simple questions. Simple questions. Won't. It's been how long? You do the math of how long it's been since J6, 2021. They won't answer. They won't say anything. Till next time, this is Unc on the Unpopular Opinion channel, bringing you information that I think is going to help the community grow and give us something to dialogue with. Till next time, I'm out.